Hi everyone, welcome to SQ Sewing Studio. Today I'd like to show you how to insert an invisible zipper into a garment that has a main fabric and a lining. This technique works for dresses, skirts, or blouses. Before we begin, let's go over what you'll need. I'll demonstrate using a sample piece. Let's imagine this is the back bodice of a dress. We'll insert the zipper into the center back seam. For this example, I've already attached the lining to the main fabric. Before we start, it's important to press the zipper flat with an iron. This helps keep it straight and makes insertion easier. So let's get started with the actual zipper application. First, open the center back seam to separate the main fabric from the lining, then align them. Match the center back seam of the main fabric pieces together. Now pin the main fabric pieces together. This is how we can align the zipper on the bodice by its top stop. After that, go to the bottom stop of the zipper and measure up 5 centimeters. Mark it there on the zipper tape as well as the main fabric. This will be our zipper stop point. From top to the zipper stop point, we sew a basting line using long stitch. And from the zipper stop point to hem, we sew a line using regular stitch. We'll start by working on the main fabric only at this stage. Sew the long stitch with seam allowance equals 1.5 centimeters. Back stitch when we reach to the zipper stop point, and then change to regular stitch to continue sewing. Once you've sewn the long stitch, press the seam open on the wrong side. Next, take your zipper and place it face down on the opened seam. Position the top stop of the zipper about 2 to 3 millimeters below the seam line. Make sure to align the edge of the zipper tape with the raw edge of the seam allowance. Pin it securely in place. Once pinned, double-check your placement. Now, we'll baste the zipper in place. Use a long machine basting stitch to secure the zipper tape to the seam allowance. Stitch close to the zipper edge. Start from the top and stitch down to the zipper stop point. Backstitch to secure. Now, we'll repeat this process for the other side of the zipper. Turn your work over and align the other side of the zipper with the opposite seam allowance, just as you did before. For this side, I normally start aligning from the top and go down to the zipper stop point and make sure the top stop of the zipper is aligned for both sides. Sew a basting line for this side from the zipper stop point to the top stop of the zipper. Turn to the right side of the back bodice, remove the basting line of the center seam. We can cut the thread from the right side, or we can also do that on the wrong side. Remove the thread of the second stitch. We will remove the thread until the back stitch only. Here you can see the basting stitches holding the zipper in place on both sides. Now take your zipper pull and bring it down through the zipper stop point. Make sure the zipper pull is completely pulled through to the bottom. Before we attach the zipper, I'd like to share a tip to ensure smoother installation. First, open the zipper completely. You'll see the seam allowance, where we've already stitched the seam. Take a fabric marking tool and draw a straight line about 1 centimeter parallel to the seam. This line will serve as a guide when we sew in the zipper. Make sure this marking line is the same distance from the seam edge to the seam line. Repeat this process on the other side of the seam. These two parallel lines will help us maintain even spacing when we stitch the zipper in place. When you turn the garment to the wrong side after attaching the zipper, you'll notice that the zipper stitching should align perfectly with the original seam. This creates a continuous, straight line from the zipper installation to the rest of the seam. By marking these guidelines on the right side of the fabric, we eliminate the need to constantly check the wrong side while sewing. This makes the process much easier and more accurate. Now we're ready to sew the zipper. For this step, you'll need an invisible zipper foot. Let's begin. Now that we have the zipper pinned in place, we can switch to the normal stitch length and adjust the needle position to the left so that it can create a small gap, leaving just enough space to make it an invisible zipper. It's stitched right next to the zipper coil. With one hand, we'll open up the zipper coil so it's easier to stitch. Start stitching and continue along. We need to adjust to make sure that when we sew, the stitching will align with this line. The stitch will be on top of the marked line. Backstitch to secure. We'll turn to the back and check. So here's the stitching we had for the previous seam. Here is the stitching we did for the zipper, and they're in one continuous line. We'll do the same for the other side. This is the other side. We'll start from the top of the zipper. We also need to adjust the needle position to ensure it's very close to the coil of the zipper. And when we reach the guideline here, we'll do the same as we did for the other side. Once we're finished, we just pull the zipper closed. You'll see here it is very flat and smooth. Give it a good press. The zipper is now perfectly concealed with no visible gaps. Let's turn the project to the wrong side. You'll notice we have some excess zipper tape at the top. We'll fold this extra length inward to the wrong side and secure it with a few stitches. Repeat this process for both sides. Now that we've anchored the excess zipper tape, let's pull the zipper pull all the way down to the bottom. Turn the fabric so the wrong sides are together. We need to create a stitching guide. So let's mark a line on both the main fabric and the lining. You can place this mark about 5 centimeters down from the top edge. Ensure the markings align on both layers. Once you've finished marking, flip the fabric so the right sides are together and align those marks we just made. Secure with pins to keep everything in place. Now we'll stitch along the zipper coil but slightly offset. You can feel the zipper coil with your fingers. Instead of stitching directly on the coil, we'll sew about 2 millimeters to the left. A zipper foot is ideal for this step. Remember to backstitch when you're about 2.5 to 3 centimeters from where the zipper stop is located. Let's take a look at our progress. Now measure the distance from where we stopped stitching to the zipper stop point. It's about 2.5 centimeters. We'll use this measurement on the other side as well. Mark 2.5 centimeters from the zipper stop on the opposite side. This mark will indicate where to stop stitching when we sew that side. For the side we've completed, let's turn it right side out. Gently insert your hand and pull the fabric through. Here's how it looks on the main fabric. And this is the appearance on the lining. Notice the top stop of the zipper. Repeat this process for the other side. Once both sides are done, you'll see that the lining now neatly covers the zipper. Next, we need to attach the remaining edge of the lining. Turn the project to the wrong side and align the fabric edges. Remember, this is the wrong side, and here's where we stopped stitching earlier. Make sure the edges match up precisely. Leave a small opening of about 2 centimeters. Start stitching from this point to the end of the hem using a 1.5 centimeter seam allowance. And there you have it, the final result showing how the lining and main fabric come together beautifully.